Good evening and welcome to MetroFocus. I'm Jack Ford. April is World Autism Awareness Month, and this year, as in years past, Autism Speaks is celebrating in a very big way. The organization, founded by my friends, media titan Bob Wright and his late wife Suzanne, is launching a new public awareness campaign with our good friends over at the Sesame Workshop, featuring Julia, the first Sesame Street Muppet with autism. Their goal to provide resources about autism in both Spanish and English to help lower the age of autism diagnosis and also to empower parents. Here to tell us more about raising awareness and celebrating those individuals who live with the disorder and their families is Angela Geiger, who is the CEO and president of Autism Speaks and a good friend for a lot of years. It's always good to see you,
Good to
Angela.
see you too, Jack.
I want to start off with a little lesson, if we can here. I want you to explain to us the notion of autism and what it encompasses, because I suspect a lot of people think it's a sort of a single category condition. Tell us about it.
I think that you're correct. It is one of the misconceptions about autism that you may know one person with autism and assume everyone's like that. But in fact, it's a spectrum, and there's many types of autisms. So you've got people who are highly functioning in daily life, employed, working, and then you've got people who are going to need 24/7 care for the rest of their lives. And most people are somewhere in the middle.
I know you've said this, and I've heard it said often, that the notion is if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism because of all of that variety of circumstances that you talked about. Let's dispel another notion out there. The idea that autism can be caused by vaccines. What has science told us about that?
After decades of scientific research, it's very clear that vaccines do not cause autism.
And yet people still cling to this in some fashion.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that's really softened over the years. So, for example, the recent coverage is featuring autism much less than some other issues.
Autism Speaks. Tell me a little bit about the organization, what you've been doing, and then I want to get into some specifics about it.
Sure. Autism Speaks is still a young organization, not even 15 years old, and it was really the brainchild, as you already said, of Bob and Suzanne Wright, and leading organizations all came together to coalesce to really make a big difference in advocacy and research, and then later helping families and people with autism directly.
I mentioned the partnership and Julia, the new character on Sesame Street. Tell me what's the concept behind that, and how is it playing out?
Well, Julia's 4. And the idea is that her parents, recognize these signs. She clearly had a diagnosis early, and we're really using her as a model for when you get early intervention, it really does make a lifetime of difference for the family.
So what difference then does the idea of early diagnosis make?
Well, early diagnosis leads to early intervention, and research proves that early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. For example, I was just with a father today, Stephen, who told us that his son was nonverbal and was diagnosed. They recognized the symptoms early, had a formal diagnosis when he was 3, got into those early interventions, had a speech therapist in the house, and he now, as his father says, won't stop talking.
So what sort of things should parents be looking for, anybody be looking for in a child?
So autism can be reliably diagnosed between 18 months and 2 years of age. So you're looking for those developmental milestones, eye contact and babbling at 6 months. Some words, leading up to that to 2, and certainly making eye contact and interacting. And one of the important things is no matter how old you are, if you have loss of words or loss of social skills, you should talk to your healthcare provider.
Now, does that mean for anybody who's out there watching saying, well, I have a child who's not really babbling yet or not really talking yet, oh my goodness, they must be within the autism spectrum. Is there a direct necessary link between those things?
There certainly can be other things it could be, but you can go to autismspeaks.org and take a screening tool called the MChat. And if you're concerned, you answer a few simple questions and then tells you whether or not you should consult a healthcare provider.
What sort of services, once that diagnosis is made, can be provided for the child and for the caregivers?
So we talked about autism being a spectrum, so that plan is going to vary by child. It'll probably include behavioral therapy, and then may include things like occupational therapy, speech therapy, sometimes motion, different things.
Right. One of the things that the organization is doing is getting behind the notion of legislation. Let's see what we can get the government to do to help us out. Tell us some of those efforts and where they are right now.
The most important thing we're working on right now is the Autism Cares Act. It's really reauthorization, and it's the fundamental bill that provides the infrastructure for autism research and care.
And what has been in place so far, and what are you hoping to get in place in the future?
So one of the things we're hoping for is continued increased research funding. You know, it's hard to believe that autism, the research budget was less than $10 million, 15 years ago.
Really? It was that,
Yes,
that minimal?
It was that minimal. And it's now in the, high 200 million, but that still pales in comparison to the scope of the issue and the work that needs to be done. But there's also care parts to this bill, that it provides funding for some of the medical treatment centers around the country that treat children with autism.
What are we seeing? And you'll get some sort of studies coming out, and they'll give you numbers in terms of the incidence of autism. What are we seeing in terms of reliable numbers now?
So the CDC's official estimate is 1 in 59, but I think it's pretty widely recognized that that number is probably it's too low. That we see states that have numbers 1 in 33, 1 in 42. So I think we definitely see a year-over-year difference in the way things are calculated directly. In fact, last year they reported a 15% increase in autism. And so it's definitely on the rise.
Do you have a sense that there's some momentum there, some bipartisan momentum in Congress to do something here?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was on the Hill last week and having meetings on both sides of the aisle, and I barely got an ask out, and people were telling me how important this was to them.
That's good to know. I think part of the reason is probably everybody knows somebody or is related to somebody. Last question for you. I know that a number of the goals that your organization has, among the number of the goals, one is awareness, and we've certainly been working on awareness. The other is understanding, getting members of the public to understand that just because somebody might be on the autism spectrum doesn't mean that they can't be part of society. Do you feel like you're making progress in terms of understanding?
I do. We really pivoted a couple years ago from just lighting things up blue to creating this world that's understanding and more accepting for people with autism. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it in social media. People are posting their stories, and hundreds of people are, that's amazing. Boy, what a great accomplishment. And being supportive for people who have a lot of challenges.
Yeah. And you see out in social media, out in the entertainment world, The Good Doctor, which, by the way, is a fabulous television show that also happens to focus on a young doctor who's on the spectrum. It's interesting how they tell the stories, and that's not the driving force behind it, which I would imagine help in terms of the understanding aspect of what
Absolutely.
you're doing. Right. Well, Angela, it's always good to talk with you, and you're all doing marvelous work out there. Continue that. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again. And a reminder for you folks out there, for more information on Autism Speaks, you can visit our website at metrofocus.org.